Hey guys, another trade war quick hitter here since the last short on the Trump tariffs and the kind of Trump tariffs vis-a-vis China did so well on the channel. Really wanted to build on that, and it's an area obviously that I'm really interested in, being a China studies guy from my grad school days. I want to look more at Southeast Asia, in particular Vietnam, relative to this conversation, just because these countries are so important. They're so important both to China and to the U.S. Vietnam imports about 120 to 140 billion dollars a year from China. That's also about what they export to the U.S. And this is a country that's really looking to move higher in the value chain and do more high value manufacturing, more services work, really diversify their economy. And what's really frustrating is, here in the U.S., we're watching the administration, continue to make overpromise and underdeliver on the deals that it's able to do with some of our foreign allies or wannabe allies, or just countries that we're trying to be close to. Vietnam being a perfect example of a country that we would want to quote unquote win in the region, win away from China and towards our sphere of influence, so to speak. And they were really failing at doing that. Last month, Xi Jinping did his sort of power tour in the Southeast Asian region, spent a ton of time in Vietnam, meeting with with the administration there, and really came to. You always have to be careful with this stuff. The Chinese tend to have a lot of propaganda around their deal making, and a lot of the deals, as I've learned in my dissertation on the One Belt One Road initiative, a lot of those deals end up really being pretty fictive at the end of the day. So you got to watch this stuff closely, but the Chinese announced 45 deals, from railroads to financing for railroads to buying the new Chinese jet airliner, things like that. Xi Jinping is in the country, obviously, and even if those deals are exaggerated by a factor of 10, that's obviously still a lot more than the U.S. has been able to do. So really, we're just not seeing the follow-up here from the Trump administration. We're not seeing the deals coming through in the way that we'd like, and we're not seeing a coherent policy to win some of these countries away that maybe would, in a different environment, be really keen to be closer to us, perhaps than they are even to China. So it's worth continuing to watch. But for right now, you can say that the Trump administration's lack of direction here is really, we clearly leaped here and then looked, right. We need to be really redoubling our efforts to make deals with these countries that have a lot of incentive to work closely with us. And I think Vietnam will continue to be a good example of whether that's actually happening on the ground or not.